Hey everybody, welcome back to Hockeybar. It is Monday, the 4th of February, and we're glad you're here today, so let's get right to it. So first in the news is about Pheonix Copley, the backup goaltender of the Capitals. This is nothing big, but he did get a contract extension, so it looks like he's there to stay in Washington. He was, I think, third on the rung last season. I remember he was behind goalie Philip Grubauer, but he's playing in Colorado now. Obviously, Holtby's the starter, so I don't think Holtby is in danger of losing that position, but Copley is a pretty good backup, so definitely worth a try. He's played a lot, um, and he's not the worst goalie. Obviously, there's a lot of worse backup goalies in the league, so Copley definitely fits the bill for the Capitals. I mean, the Capitals haven't been doing great as of recent, anyway. It's not all his fault. He's been trading off with Holtby, trying to figure something out. So it's not his fault, and it's nobody's fault really. So Copley does his best. I think he deserves the contract extension. He is making 1.1 million annual now, so that's a nice thing for a young goaltender. And then another talking about goaltenders, Tuukka Rask last night actually made big history in the Bruins organization. He became the most winning goalie in Bruins history. So he now has 253 wins, which is passing Cecil Thompson, who is the all-time goalie leader for the Bruins. That's also shared by Tim Thomas, who's below Thompson. He's another great goaltender that the Bruins had in the 90s and early 2000s, I believe. So I remember watching Thomas, and when Rask stepped into the picture, I was really excited after watching him play a couple times, and I'm glad he got the accolade. Became a big part of Bruins history. So congrats to him. And now moving on to our games to watch, we have the Ducks and the Maple Leafs. So, as we know, the Ducks haven't been doing that great. They've dropped so far in the standings. They used to be one of the top five in the Western Conference. Now they're in the bottom five, along with teams like St. Louis, LA, Chicago, those type of teams that kind of struggle regularly. But the Ducks still haven't figured it out. They've won a couple games. I think they're 2-6-2 in their last 10. So not a lot of wins. Definitely not. They're sitting at 51 points right now on the season. So they really could figure it out soon. They probably should. I know Ryan Miller's still injured for them, so they have to rely on John Gibson. And Gibson does a lot. I think he's put into a bad position lately, and he's been performing probably how you would expect him to perform. So, and then over to the Maple Leafs, they've played quite a lot in the last week or so. They played, I think, Friday, Saturday, and today. So they've had one day off in the last 3 or 4. Sunday was their only day off, and luckily they haven't had some big ass travel, and everything's good for them. So Maple Leafs haven't been able to move, or luckily haven't moved. My apologies. So looks like them seeing at home is probably a good thing, but they got the Ducks coming towards them. They've won a couple games recently. I want to say they lost. I know they lost Friday in Detroit. And I believe they beat the Penguins Saturday, so they're 1-1 since the break. So anything can happen. And then second game I wanted to talk about Canucks and Flyers. So Canucks are a good, decent team that's got a lot of good scores. You got Besser and Pettersson obviously leading that. And then the Flyers have been outstanding for some odd reason ever since the break ended. Got 7 wins in a row right now. That's including a couple before the break, but nonetheless, still wins since then. So they've kept it up. They fought really hard a lot of these games. I think their last game they played was a comeback. I think from like 2 goals down, came back and won it in overtime. So they don't give up anymore. They don't give away anything easy, and I think this is the right state of mind for the Flyers. And I'm really really think that this should be a stepping stone for their season. They're starting to get up in the Eastern Conference, out of the cellar. So hopefully it does something for them. Hopefully things start to change. I know they've got some scorers that have been performing out of their reach, and I know there's also some uncertainty in the locker room because the trade deadline's coming up, and they have a couple things that they could pawn off. So I know Simmons is kind of in the question, but he's been a lifelong Flyers player, so you never know. We're just gonna have to see. Now moving on to stats, Kucherov still leads for both points and assists. He has 80 points, 58 assists, doing very well. Lightning have been doing great all season, and he's mostly to blame for that. The goals are obviously still led by Ovechkin. Hasn't gotten a goal in a while, but things happen. He takes his time, but he's definitely already overachieved what you kind of had expected at this point in the season. He's gotten tons of hat tricks, and he has his nights. And then plus minus is obviously still led by Mark Giordano. He's 1 point ahead of teammate TJ Brody for the lead. He is at plus 30. And goalies kind of the same. Robin Leonard, the Islanders playing soon, and they got a 202 goals against average and a 93.2 save percentage. So they know when Leonard's in net, they have a good chance of winning. Another team that always has a reliance on their goaltender, Marc-Andre Fleury with Vegas. Obviously, most winning goalie in the league so far this season. He's played the most too. He's also got 6 shutouts, so he's very reliable and gets the job done. So I want to thank you guys for watching, tuning in today. Really appreciate it. You can let me know in the comments what you think if you have a comment. And if you're not already, do make sure you hit the subscribe button because we do these every day, and we'd love to see support. So I want to say thank you guys for watching again, and we'll see you next time.